Also tonight, we are talking about a crash that was caught on camera, horrifying the sports world and killing one of its own.
Involving NASCAR champ Tony Stewart, Kevin Ward Jr.
The three-time NASCAR champion struck and killed a fellow driver who jumped out of his wrecked car and stormed onto the track during a race.
Ward was killed by NASCAR star Tony Stewart.
Kevin Ward Jr. will never race again. His family believes Tony Stewart should face the same punishment.
Tony Stewart went around the track after causing Kevin to crash, taking him out of the race, and ran him over. It sounds like homicide to me.
That's something that money talks. It's the way it is with anywhere. If you got money, you get away with it.
I have no idea what Tony Stewart's intention was during that race.
Because it's injustice that he is not having to pay for the death of Kevin Ward Jr.
You're going to have some insurmountable evidence for me to believe that there was any kind of malintent on the part of Tony Stewart.
How don't you get reprimanded for something like that? That's just beyond me, especially on a caution. It pisses me off, personally. It pisses me off really bad.
Stewart's reputation for losing his temper on the track has gone on for years.
Kevin Ward Jr. dies when he is hit by Stewart's race car.
A situation that divides motorsports fans still to this day. Some believe there was intent from the notorious hothead champion, others believe he is innocent. But one thing is for certain, avoidable actions occurred on track that night that would change motorsports forever. Kevin Ward Jr. from Port Layton, New York, raced for 15 years in his short life. He raced go-karts for 8 years, micro sprint cars for 3 years, and 5 years in the 360 Super Sprint cars. Kevin won 2 micro championships and a total of 30 micro sprint cup race wins in just 3 years of competing. Kevin had 4 feature wins in racing with the Empire Super Sprints from 2010 to 2014. Kevin's dream was to end up in the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series racing professionally, but unfortunately, his life was cut short too soon.
If you like action, thrills, and excitement, be at Canandaigua Speedway tonight. It's where the Dirt Stars are. Mr. Dirt, Charlie Rudolph. Syracuse winners like Barefoot Bob McCready and A.J. Slideways Alan Johnson. Florida Tour.
Oh, he hit him! Tony Stewart just hit that guy, Alex! Tony Stewart just hit that guy! Holy shit!
Breaking news in the world of NASCAR today. Authorities tell us driver Tony Stewart hit and killed another driver during a dirt track race in upstate New York.
Yeah, the driver who was killed was out walking on the track. Bleacher Report's Rashawn Ali is here with more. Rashawn, what more do you know? Because we've learned something from the sheriff there.
Right. Well, witnesses say Stewart spun out fellow driver Kevin Ward. Kevin then got out of the car to kind of voice his displeasure, and he was hit by Tony Stewart's car, sliding him down the track. According to Ontario County, New York Sheriff, Phil Navarro. They said that the driver was then taken to the hospital by ambulance where he was pronounced dead. So a spokesman from Tony Stewart's camp have released a statement saying a tragic accident took place last night during a sprint car race in which Tony Stewart was participating. Tony was unhurt, but a fellow competitor lost his life. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. We're still attempting to sort through all the details, and we appreciate your understanding during this difficult time. Now, they have said that he has been cooperating and talking, but for those people who follow NASCAR, we know that Tony Stewart has been a hothead over the years.
In a sport known for temper on the track, Stewart has specifically stood out. A lot of people are characterizing him today as a hothead.
Stewart, known as a great driver with a bad temper.
You feel like Tony Stewart killed your son and got away with it.
Yes, I do.
Most definitely.
Tony Stewart and Kevin Ward were racing door-to-door in turns 1 and 2 at the Canandaigua Raceway, and Stewart misjudged the slide job, sending Ward up the track and ending his race. What happened after would haunt the Wards and Tony Stewart for life. Kevin Ward exited his car and proceeded to race down the track on foot and find Tony Stewart. He pointed at Tony and was clipped by Tony's right rear, killing him. Cause of death was blunt force trauma. Tony Stewart was accused of lighting up the tires to sling dirt at Kevin Ward, but misjudged and caught him with the right rear. Tony claims he never saw Ward in his black fire suit on the dimly lit track until it was too late. A huge turn in the case was that toxicology reports showed that Kevin Ward had marijuana in his system.
A toxicology report showing Ward had trace amounts of marijuana in his system on that fatal night. I do not believe my son was impaired.
Reports show that Ward's blood wasn't tested until 39 hours after his passing. Waiting that long to test blood after someone has passed could in turn amplify the results of the positive test. The Ward family was furious that only their son Kevin was tested, but not the driver of the car, Tony Stewart. Tony was cleared of all charges shortly after and would resume his NASCAR career, but Kevin would not.
I just think that it's important to also point out, you've got some folks out there that want to point towards Tony Stewart's past and some of the incidences that he's been involved in terms of his temper or whatever the case may be. What I would ask those people is, look at the video, look at what transpired. And unless you can definitively say that there was malice intent, you've got no reason to accuse this man of attempting for something like this to happen. I think it clearly looks like an accident, and unless you can prove otherwise, we just don't need to be throwing that out there the way some people have been doing. We miss Kevin Ward Jr. It's tragic. He's only 20 years old. My heart really, really goes out to his family. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it was intentional.
With that being said, not only do the Ward family have to, but Tony Stewart still has to live with the situation every day for the rest of his life. Though a vast majority of the racing community thought Tony Stewart did nothing wrong, he still will have to read the constant comments and messages forever from the people who think he's guilty. Tony would sit out multiple events in the wake of the tragedy and investigation. Drivers Regan Smith and Jeff Burton would fill in and replace him.
Stewart, known as a controversial driver with a temper, deciding not to take part in today's NASCAR race at Watkins Glen, saying there are
thoughts and prayers. This is a very tough, very emotional time for everybody. His family, our family at Stewart Haas, Tony Stewart. So, with that being said, we feel that as a group, Tony will not drive today. Regan Smith is on his way up. NASCAR has approved for him to get in the race car today. They're going to do everything they can to help us expedite getting his seat and him comfortable. So that's kind of what we've been working on this morning and trying to get executed is get Regan here. And obviously anything we can do for Tony and everybody else is just, like I said, it's an emotional time right now.
NASCAR driver Tony Stewart has withdrawn from a second race in the wake of Saturday's fatal incident in New York State.
Regan Smith subbing for Tony Stewart. in the 14 car. Had to drop to the back end of the field. Is up to the 21st place now by not pitting on this caution. Of course, Stewart choosing to sit out today's race, involved in an accident during a sprint car race last night at Canandaigua Speedway nearby the Watkins Glen area, in which a driver lost his life following an incident on the track. And we update this story because Tony Stewart has just released a statement commenting on the situation, and we show it to you here. Quoting Stewart here, "There aren't words to describe the sadness I feel about the accident that took the life of Kevin Ward Jr. It's a very emotional time for all involved, and it's the reason I've decided not to participate in today's race at Watkins Glen. My thoughts, prayers are with his family, friends, and everyone affected by this tragedy." A statement just released by Tony Stewart moments ago. We update the biggest mover in the race, brought to you by the Sprint Unlimited Family Plan. Regan Smith starting in the back, subbing for Tony Stewart in the 14 car today by not pitting under the lap 9 caution when a lot of others in front of him did. He gained a lot of that ground, you see, up to 16th place. So Regan Smith just arriving at the racetrack at 11:55 Eastern time. Getting about 10 minutes to get fitted into that 14 car before it was pushed to the line, and now out trying to find a way to gain all the ground that he can today here at Watkins Glen under very difficult circumstances.
I know it's a tough day for your buddy Tony Stewart and this entire team. When you got here, when Mr. Hendrick got you up here and you got in the car, what kind of expectations did they say? What did they want you to try to do with the car? What were they expecting to happen when you put you in the car?
I don't know that we really had any expectations. Just go out there and race, and that's it. It's been, obviously a long day for everybody, everybody here with the team, and just go out and race and see what the day brings us, and we'll go from there. So, that's about the only expectations you can have.
Well done so far.
All right, thanks, Doc.
Regan Smith having to climb in the car, got here, as you said, Nicole, and basically he's not been in a Sprint Cup car since last May at Dover, has not been on a road course in the Sprint Cup car. He just told me since this race 2 years ago when he finished 9th. Been a long time, and it's a different approach now than it was back then on a road course in a Sprint Cup car.
Thanks, Doc. While we have been here at Watkins Glen, the investigation is ongoing into what happened last night at Canandaigua Speedway, which is about an hour from here. About an hour ago, the Sheriff's Department did have another press conference. They did say that there are no criminal charges pending involving Tony Stewart. There's no evidence to support criminal charges. They are asking fans to submit any video of the incident last night. The DA will continue the investigation. He did say cautiously, this is only 16 hours old. We will continue to investigate, but Tony Stewart is free to go. Again, he is not at the track today. He left this morning.
Yeah, sad day for all involved, and we hate this continues to evolve, but just really feel bad for the Ward family, and our blessings
20 years old.
And everything goes out to those folks, and tough day.
I echo what you just said. The Kevin Ward family is the most important thing right now. This is really a tough deal on them. They're sitting back there, all of them crying, I'm sure. I know Tony Stewart sitting at home, very, very upset. And this thing will play out. We'll see what happens.
An unspeakable tragedy, and no conversation really should overshadow the fact that 20-year-old Kevin Ward Jr. did lose his life last night. Our thoughts go out to his family. More from Watkins Glen in just a few.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson's around. And more collected. Regan Smith cautions out again.
Gas in it.
Tough ending to a very tough day for the 14 team. Tony Stewart choosing not to race today. Regan Smith getting here at the last minute, getting caught up when Jimmy Johnson got bumped here.
Like maybe a little tap from Matt Kenseth in the 20 car. But that's also tight down there. I mean, you're just all going for the same real estate.
Trouble for Jeff Burton. Doc?
Yeah, Jeff came in for his pit stop about 6 laps ago and said he smelled something burning inside the car. He left pit roads, and I got to come back in. They said there's an electrical smell in the car. They jacked the left side of the car up to pull the battery out, saw something up there in the battery compartment, and now they said, just go to the garage. We've got to figure this out. So they're going to back him up. Brand new race car, never been raced, and they have an electrical issue. They're going to head to the garage and try to get it fixed.
You know, it's a hard week for everybody, not the way we wanted it to end, but really proud of everybody's effort here, you know, picking up and getting going after last week, and everybody gave 100%.
That's Jeff Burton, by the way.
Then Jeff Burton up to fourth, subbing for Tony Stewart in that 14 car, and Joey Logano now racing Jimmy Johnson for 5th place.
Burton's wheeling that thing tonight, didn't he? Oh, doing a great job. Jeff's always enjoyed racing here, but probably taking him most of the weekend to get used to the car here and the different line and everything that he's been used to running here. Making Tony proud, and send our best to Tony while we're talking about him.
A lot of signs in the grandstands on lap 14 tonight, I was told to expect, in support of Tony Stewart. And no word as yet as to when Tony Stewart might return to the race car. Of course, out now a 3rd straight week after that terrible tragedy in upstate New York a few weeks ago, where a young driver, Kevin Ward Jr., lost his life.
About a year ago or so, I put out a video documenting Tony Stewart's career, and you can only imagine some of the comments it had.
As the Empire Tour returns to the tracks, last weekend's tragedy is still fresh in everyone's minds. He and the racing community in central New York resume the season. Everyone is paying tribute to number 13. And tonight, both fans and racing crews alike donned orange in support.
Whether you think he's guilty or not, doesn't really matter in the end. It's over. It won't bring back Kevin Ward. It's now just another chapter in Stewart's life, and the final one in Kevin's. Several different motorsports would go on to create rules that prevent drivers from exiting their cars until the safety crew tells them to because of this accident.
Yeah, this has been one of the toughest tragedies I've ever had to deal with, both professionally and personally. And this is something that will definitely affect my life forever.
To say that Tony Stewart's return to the racetrack has been an emotional one would be an understatement. From the time he first stepped back in the garage on Friday morning for the first practice, he was welcomed with open arms from his fellow competitors, friends, and fans.
You guys be careful, be safe down there. I appreciate everything.
Going to lead. Stewart's putting on a show in the opening lap.
Oh my God, I can't believe that. I mean, that turn 1 and 2 was just unreal. Look at it. They didn't think he would come in the race. Made a bad mistake in thinking otherwise. Look at this. Good Lord, I tell that car's like shot out of a rocket.
A settlement reportedly reached between Tony Stewart and the parents of a driver he hit and killed during a race.
A settlement was eventually reached between Stewart and the Ward family but the amount was undisclosed. This story runs much deeper than I could dive, but I felt comfortable stopping here. Thanks for watching.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check as I'm chess, what's happening next?
He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. Not leaving.